Tonight I thought I would try a recipe from the Wegman Natures Marketplace magazine, and this is on the cover of the October issue. The recipe is called Lemony lentil soup with mushrooms and kale, and I have the ingredients here on the counter all ready to go, and I thought I would make it in the Casore multi-cooker. And this is soup that doesn't take too long to make or put together. Here's the ingredients. We're going to use Goya dry lentils. We're going to use some garlic and some lemon juice. Of course, we'll start with carrots, celery, and onions. And we have some fresh herbs, which I'm using rosemary and thyme. Also, some nice portobello mushrooms. And we're going to use some vegetable stock, some salt and pepper, and also we're going to use some mixed greens. Alright, I'm going to get the multi-cooker ready. We're going to put a little olive oil in there, and I'm going to chop up the celery, carrots, and onions into little bite-sized pieces, and then we'll start sauteing the veggies. Alright, let's turn this onto saute. Saute is 284 degrees, and we'll start putting a little olive oil in there just to give the vegetables a place to start. One of the nice features about the multi-cooker is that once it reaches the right temperature, it'll tell you so you don't have to keep checking to see if it's hot enough. It'll tell you when it's exactly ready, and then we can start adding the veggies. Also, while things are heating up, I'm going to take the Goya lentils and put them in a measuring cup full of water and rinse them and go over them and make sure there's no foreign things in the middle of these little beans. So I'm going to make sure they're nice and clean first. Oh, there's our signal that the pot is ready to add the veggies. Alright, I used a red onion instead of the recipe called for yellow, because I think in a soup that has mushrooms and one that you want the broth to be dark, it's nice to have the dark red of the onions contributing to that. So let's start out with the onions. Hear the sizzle. And the celery. And the carrots. Smell those nice onions already. Alright, now these are pretty substantial chunks here. Carrots especially, I want to make sure that they get a good start in the cooking. So we're going to let them sizzle and saute for a while we get the rest of the ingredients ready. Alright, now you know that I like to vary the recipes that I use sometimes. So this is another example. I have these beautiful portobellos, and I'm going to remove the stems. A little extra. These are thoroughly washed, but I'm going to get rid of the stems and the little extra parts right now. And I'm going to slice these up nicely, nice thick slices. Now the recipe calls for white mushrooms. I'm using these because that's what I have, and I think the flavor on the portobellos is really outstanding, so I'm going to use them instead of the white ones. You want nice chunks here because after the carrots get softened up a little bit, we're going to add the mushrooms and get them browned and nice and let them release their nice brown juices. Aren't they beautiful mushrooms? Look how fresh. Very nice. make a great soup. Also, we're going to use some of the herbs. So I'm just going to chop up the herbs a little bit here too. Just a little more finely. Okay, now that the vegetables are starting to get a little translucent and a little more tender, we're going to add the mushrooms to this mixture. Alright, so in this step we're adding the garlic, the herbs, and the mushrooms. Stirred in there. Now, some people have told me in previous videos that they like to remove the fins in the bottom of the mushroom. Now this is your preference. If you like to remove the fins, go ahead. It will prevent things from becoming so dark, but it also gives a lot of flavor, those little fins. So I prefer to leave them in. You can do whatever you'd like to do. If you'd like them out, take them out. I'm going to add some fresh ground pepper. I'm going to add a little salt to it today because I'm using vegetable stock that is unsalted to not use too much salt. Alright, now you can use a stovetop pan and cook your vegetable soup in that, but you can also use the crock pots or the multi-cookers for things like this. And I like when you have one that will have a simmer function first, and then as you come to the cooking stage, you can just turn it into the crock pot stage. When I see that the mushrooms are starting to release their juices, and that's what's happening now, they're getting softer and the juices are starting to spread among the vegetables, then I'm going to add the lentils. Now since I'm using such a big cooking vessel, I did use a little bit extra on some of the measurements here. They called for 1.5 cups of lentils. The whole bag, which is a 1 pound bag, comes out to a little over 2 cups, and I'm going to use all of them. Now these are rinsed and clean, and they're like little beans, dried beans. They're dried, though they're not cooked yet. So since they are very small, they will not take that long to cook. Not like a pinto bean or something where you want to soak it overnight or cook it longer. So just want to spread these around. And then I'm going to use the container of unsalted vegetable stock. And these recipes in the cookbook that I was referring to are vegan recipes, so they're really great and they're really balanced meals. So I think I will be getting the cookbook and cooking more from it in the near future. So as you can see, the sodium in here is only 210 milligrams. Alright, now after adding 4 cups of vegetable stock, we're adding 2 cups of water. I'm going to mix this all up and get the lentils spread out evenly. And we're now going to change this from a simmering mode to a cooking mode. Now in some of my other cooking videos for soup, you saw me use this multi-cooker on the slow cook mode, low, medium, or high. But today I'm going to the stovetop mode. We're going to first cancel the simmer, and then we're going to put it on a boil. This is a stovetop mode, okay? So that cooks at 212 degrees, and we're going to let that cook with the lid on. And then after about 20 minutes, we're going to come back and add the greens. Okay, cook away. All right, let's check on the soup here. Look at that boiling away. All right, the lentils look very nice. They're not mushy or anything like that. So this is the time to make a move, and we're going to put our greens in there now. I have a giant bag of mixed greens, and we're not going to use the whole bag. We're going to use 2 good handfuls in here. These are already chopped up nicely. So we're going to put a couple handfuls in like this. And they do cook down, as you know. And you'll see it won't take long until they become part of this soup. Adding a very nutritious part, and the fiber also. You can see how much of the water actually cooked out of here. Quite a bit. And I'm even tempted to add a little bit more water here because it's very thick. Then I have half of a lemon. We're going to squirt this juice in here, which is a nice way to brighten up the flavors. And also, when you use some really heavy greens like this, it's a nice way to fight the bitterness that might come out of those. So the lemon is a really nice touch. And then one trick that an old friend, Mr. Chung, taught me how to get all the juice out of the lemon is to take a spoon or something like this and get all the fibers of the lemon opened up. Thanks, Mr. Chung. I remember. He taught me a lot of good cooking tips when we worked together. Alright, I'm going to add another measuring cup full of water. And we're going to let this cook for 10 more minutes to get the greens nice and tender. I can smell the lemon now. It's a really nice touch. Alright, let's cover it up and go for 10. These mixed greens actually don't contain any kale, but that's okay. They contain collard, mustard, and turnip greens. So that's a nice combination. Plenty of nutrition in there. Vitamin A, C, calcium, and fiber. Good stuff. Alright, let's take a look. I think we're done cooking. Wow. Doesn't that look great? Alright, I'm going to turn the Kasuri multi-cooker off. Let's put some in the bowl while it's nice and hot. Scoop some out. Look at the nice dark brown broth that we have with this. This is wonderful, wonderful. Now that's a nice bowl of soup. I hope you get a chance to try this recipe for lemony lentil soup with mushrooms and greens. It's so nutritious and delicious. It's a real power plate. Thanks for watching.